If you clicked on this video, you're probably in a slump right now. Or maybe you think that you might enter a slump one day and you want to know how to get out of it. So I put together 4 basic tips on how you guys can get out of a slump, since I was recently just in one and I actually got out of it and wrote down all my tips on how to fix it. So I thought I would share it with you guys. But before I share those tips with you guys, I need you guys to check out the sponsor of this video, Skins Monkey.
Today's sponsor is Skins Monkey. Skins Monkey is a CS2 skins trading site and marketplace that provides an instant way to get new skins. My favorite thing about Skins Monkey is that I can trade skins that I no longer want and trade it for a skin that is equal value. If you use code LouisCS2, you get a $5 bonus on your first trade. If you want to buy skins, you can get a 30% deposit bonus plus an extra 5% using my code. The link is down in the description.
Once you guys upgraded your inventory from my link down in the description using Skins Monkey, let's get right into the video. So let's first identify what a slump is. A slump is when you have a big downfall in performance and your stats aren't living up to what they usually do, because most pro players in esports have an average stat line on what they are usually playing at. In HLTV, you can see that there's usually just a 2.0 rating that the players usually compare at, and when they go below their average rating, people usually say that they enter a slump. But if you are watching this video, that means you feel that you're also in a slump just like some of these pro esports players enter. So let's figure out how we can actually get out of this so-called slump. So when you start to notice that you might be having a decrease in performance in Counter-Strike, the first thing you can do is simply just take a break, because you might be overworking yourself. Now, you guys might think it's funny that you can overwork yourself in a video game, but let's compare it to a game like basketball. If I went outside and was just shooting hoops for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'm obviously going to see a decrease in performance because I'm not letting my body take a break. And this goes for the same as in Counter-Strike. If I'm sitting there using my wrist for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'm not letting my body heal and rest to get back to my peak performance, because I'm using muscles in my hands. I'm not letting my body learn the muscle memory that I'm trying to train, and I'm just simply overworking myself. So if you can relate to this tip about overworking, I decided to research what Kobe does for his training schedule and how he performed pretty much at his peak in almost every game he played, and it's very simple. He would divide his 6-hour-long training routine into 4 parts. He would do 2 hours of training, he would then take a break, do another 2 hours, take a break, 1 hour, break, 1 hour, a break, and then he would have some free time in between to just rest. He would let his body rest and heal, just like you guys need to be doing in whatever esport you're playing. And in this sense, Counter-Strike, especially if you want to go pro, you want to make sure you have balance and you want to give your time body to rest, because sitting in your chair for 8 hours a day actually takes a toll on not only your body but also your mental. So you need to make sure you give your body time to reset outside of your computer. So if you can't relate to the first tip and maybe you're only playing for like 4 hours a day, there could be another problem, and it's more mental sided than you think, and it's simply just you're not confident. Being confident is very big, not only in video games but also in the outside world, because you got to put your money where your mouth is. If you think you are this good player, then you really have to prove it. But if you're going into these Counter-Strike games just thinking, man, I play bad, I'm not good enough, I'm just going to kind of support and throw some nades, then obviously you're not going to perform. If you don't know how to build up confidence, there's actually a very simple tip that Stamina actually told me when I was subbing in for his team, and that is I needed to have an ego. When you guys are in your Counter-Strike games or whatever esport you're playing, you need to believe that you can actually beat the other team, which I know it sounds very cliche, but that's as simple as it is. You have to go into the game just thinking that you are better than everyone else, and you have to prove it, and that will kind of light this fire inside of you that will push you to perform just because you want to prove yourself. And there's no pressure whatsoever, because at the end of the day it is a video game. But if you really believe that you are better than the other team, you'll notice you'll start making some more plays, and maybe you'll actually realize what kind of player you are when you do develop this ego, which will transform into confidence. You just have to be very careful that you don't let the ego get too big and that you can actually control it, because that currently is a problem in North America right now, that too many of these kids have egos, and it's actually not just confidence. So moving on to the next subject, we have you aren't training consistently. Now, if you train consistently, that will relate to consistency in game. But I did talk about earlier about Kobe's training routine, where he would divide it up with a 6-hour training. Now, if you're more of a casual player, obviously you might just train for 30 minutes to an hour, but you need to be consistent with it. So you need to be able to find your weakness on what it is. Maybe it's simply just your aim. The deathmatching 1 hour a day, you will notice a big difference. But if you're only deathmatching, let's say 3 times a week on whenever you feel like it, then you're not going to perform consistently in game. So you really want to develop a good routine for yourself, and then you will start to notice that you are improving. Because if you just train whenever you feel like it, obviously you're not going to improve, and then you're still going to stay in the slump because you're just thinking, I'm just going to deathmatch whenever I think I play bad, and it's not going to be good for you, and you won't notice yourself improving at all. But if you don't have time for training and you're more of a casual player, I really recommend that you get a good warm-up routine. Find the warm-up routine that works for you. I just released a video on how you should actually warm up, going through some aimbots and some KZ, warming up your wrist. You want to find a good routine that makes you feel warmed up and ready to play and gives you that confidence, and it could just be as simple as just shooting some bots in the map aimbots. Now moving on to the last subject, if you don't think you're playing at your peak, it could just be you're a casual player. Now casual players obviously just like to have fun playing the game. Maybe they are playing all sorts of different games and Counter-Strike's just another game that they love to play, and that is totally fine, but you have to realize that you're not going to be this amazing player if you're just someone that's a casual. I play with a lot of casual players up in Faceit level 10 that have been playing Counter-Strike since 1.6, and even though they're not the best players since they are just a casual, but they've just developed good game awareness and understand how the game works, so they can obviously get to a rank like Faceit level 10. At the end of the day, Counter-Strike is simply just a video game, and you need to learn how to have fun. So if you are a casual player and think that you might be in a slump, just remember you open up Counter-Strike to literally play and have fun and enjoy what Counter-Strike is. Counter-Strike is such a fun game that throws so many different situations at you, and you need to learn to enjoy that. It's not about performance if you just load it up after you got off a game like Skyrim. So please don't worry about your performance if this is just another game that you love to play. So now that I'm getting towards the end of this video, I just want to explain to you guys that if you are in a slump, these tips could work for you, and I really think they will. Now, I'm not saying, go on a vacation to the Bahamas and enjoy your time away from the computer because that might get you out of the slump. You don't have to do that. It's simply just identifying your weaknesses and taking small little breaks if you do really enjoy Counter-Strike and you are trying to go pro. And if you are trying to go pro, you have to realize that a slump is just something that every player goes through, and they have a nice routine on how to get out of it. I've developed my own routine, which I just shared with you guys, and it's simply just taking breaks and working on my confidence and switching up my training routine, trying to find my weaknesses. So if this video did help you guys, I really recommend that you subscribe to the channel for more content. I'm going to be pushing out some more scientific type videos on how we can improve in Counter-Strike in some different ways that no one's ever seen before. So if you don't want to miss that type of content, make sure you guys subscribe, and also comment down below if I missed any tips that might have helped you guys in the process of a slump. But just make sure you guys remember that a slump is very normal and it's not something to worry about. Some players just play through it, others have a nice little routine, and I really recommend that you guys find what works for you and write it down so you remember it, because sometimes you don't enter a slump a lot of the times and you forget how you got out of it. So just make sure you guys are writing down what does work for you. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like, and comment down below again if I miss anything or any other tips, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.